University of Illinois. It's a foreign student, and you think this is part of a pattern or a bigger problem?
Well, I think it could potentially become a bigger problem. I'm not going to suggest that victimization of international students is any higher than it is of everyday students that go to our colleges and universities. I'm only suggesting is that it really could have a potential chilling effect on students coming here, because think about it this way, McGraw. You've got over 1 million international students in this country, bring in revenue of about $30 billion a year. So it's a big industry for the U.S. to have these students here. Plus, the reality is they fill a lot of the void in the hard sciences and science, technology, engineering, where we just don't have the numbers of kids going into those fields.
So what do we know about this University of Illinois student, and was it something where it was some type of hate crime against a foreign student, or was it something else going on?
There's no indication of that. The graduate assistant that's been charged with her abduction, which I'm going to assume will eventually be charged with her murder, was on a number of fetish websites. He was on even websites about how you abduct people. So I don't know what we're into with him. I do think that it was random, that she happened to be at a place standing on the corner needing a ride. She had missed a bus, and he apparently okey-doked her into his car. Mm-hmm. And then that was it after that.
Your point, though, I think is well taken, and one that is not made very often. And this backlash on foreigners and foreign students and so on and so forth, and the extreme vetting is great. But the best and the brightest from around the world come and study here. They end up living here. They start companies here, and they create jobs here. And so if we cut off that pipeline, we're cutting off our nose to spite our face.
And there is no question about that part of it. I mean, about a third of those 1 million-plus kids are from China. A little below that is India, Saudi Arabia, and South Korea. That it goes on down the list. So, and then we send a lot of kids overseas to do the reverse of this, to go to universities in Europe and other places. So I'm going to suggest that we just need to be really sensitive when these things happen and treat them as professionally aggressive as we do any other type of crime.
Yeah. Also, we forget the foreign student might come over here, might go back to South Korea, China, Saudi Arabia, but we are now exporting a college student who has 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 years of study in America. So we're exporting America and infiltrating these other countries with American culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just something we've really got to stay on top of. And we really need to keep, by and large, the flow of the type of student that's coming here to continue.
Brad, do I still have you?
You do. I'm sorry if I lost you.
That's all right. Quickly, while I have you, Chicago, we were talking about it. 102 people shot over the 4th of July weekend. Something to be more concerned over, a one-time thing. As you watch that, I mean, it just keeps getting worse around the country.
Well, in particular in Chicago, I mean, they've got such a systemic gang problem. And the combination, McGraw, of what I would call sort of decentralized gangs, if you will, combined with the ready availability of acquiring firearms, not in Illinois, but certainly in Indiana, which is just, as you well know, down the street,
right,
so to speak, is a big problem. And that's not to say Indiana can't do what Indiana does. I'm only suggesting that firearms availability obviously drive these numbers up.
Yeah. Brad Melke, thanks for checking in. Good stuff today. Thanks.
Take care, McGraw.
725, Big 550, KTRS. We're going to